If you are a midlife woman or you're coming up on this powerful season of growth, this is the podcast for you. Welcome to Unraveling Together. I'm Samantha Graber, also known as Dr. Sam, seasoned holistic health physician and woman in the midst of midlife's unraveling. I created Unraveling Together to help a woman understand what is happening for her during this season. In a sea of changing hormones and moods, we need a space for safe exploration, a space to enter unencumbered, and where we won't be judged for our past, nor for our anxieties about the uncertain future. Unraveling Together is the place to talk about the things we just don't talk about, but so desperately need to as women. Together we untangle ourselves from our past and weave a beautiful web for a future we so deeply desire to bring to life. Now we do this firmly planted in the here and now. We do this through doing the work, and we do it together. You are never alone as you navigate the midlife waters. I'm here right alongside you, and I bring friends. Grab a cup of chai, water, tea, or joe, and let's get started. Before we dive into today's episode, I encourage you to take just one moment to get centered. Be truly present, right here, right now. Let's take one big breath in through your nose, hold it, and then breathe out through your mouth. Nice, the breath. That one thing that's with us from the moment we are birthed until the moment that we pass. Let's get into today's topic, here and now. The midlife unraveling requires chutzpah and heaping helpings of it. Fast cars and faster, younger, much younger women. That's the quintessential stereotype of a man's midlife crisis. Complete that picture with a spray tan and hair plugs, and voila, transformation complete. And pretty much completely acceptable in our society as it stands. Side note, society as we know it is smack dab in the midst of an unraveling of its own. Look around. Systems are crumbling left and right. Now that's a topic for a different discussion and one I'll circle back on in time. Stereotype aside, this is not what typically happens to women. Midlife hits us in another way, a very personal and guttural way. It demands of us a self-reckoning, a reckoning that should we put it on the already overcrowded back burner of life, will slow boil until it garners enough entropy to explode and cover every inch of our lives with muck. At least, this is what happened to me, and every woman so far with whom I've had this conversation. The conversation stems around the two more critical questions we humans have about life. Questions we flirt with during our first few decades. Questions we think until midlife are just fleeting inquiries that are really just luxuries to have answered. Who am I, and why am I here now? So I had my self-reckoning and continue to find myself diving deeper into my own answers. I don't really expect to have the answer. I don't think any of us really ever do. In fact, I don't think there is an answer. What I believe we do have access to, though, is the inner conversation that hones our sifting and sorting skills. Skills that are undervalued and underappreciated until we find ourselves in that temperate pot of midlife soup. At a slow boil. A boil that strengthens until we put our newfound skills to work, and work it is. The midlife unraveling is not an event, as we would understand a crisis to be. In my mind, a crisis happens to us. We deal with it and then proceed. Think sports car lease and salon appointments, and dating apps with the stereotypical scenario that I started out with. Unraveling requires inquiry. It requires studying and analysis and sifting and sorting. It requires letting go of expectations we placed upon ourselves and allowed others to pile theirs upon. It is not a passive event, not in the least. Now, I suppose it could be passive in a way. You could choose to ignore it or medicate it or internalize it and then deal with the consequences. That is a decision, and by all means your choice to make. The unraveling is not for the meek, nor the delicate. It requires chutzpah and heaping helpings of it. People may call what happens at midlife a crisis, but it's not. It's an unraveling, a time when you feel a desperate pull to live the life you want to live, not the one you're supposed to live. The unraveling is a time when you are challenged by the universe to let go of who you think you are supposed to be and to embrace who you are. That's by Brené Brown. I've been a fastidious student of Brené Brown since I first met her in 2017. I watched her TED Talk and that was it. She was now my virtual BFF, and that was that. She speaks to our collective soul and talks about the things we just don't talk about. As a result of our silence around important things, the fallout festers and festers some more, eventually reaching the level of deal with me or else, and deal with it we must. Another incredible Brenéism is this: midlife is when the universe gently places her hands upon your shoulders, pulls you close, and whispers in your ear, I'm not screwing around. All of this pretending and performing, these coping mechanisms that you've developed to protect yourself from feeling inadequate and getting hurt, has to go. Your armor is preventing you from growing into your gifts. I understand that you needed these protections when you were small. I understand that you believed your armor could help you secure all of the things you needed to feel worthy and lovable. But you're still searching, and you're more lost than ever. Time is growing short. There are unexplored adventures ahead of you. You can't live the rest of your life worried about what other people think. You were born worthy of love and belonging. Courage and daring are coursing through your veins. You were made to live and love with your whole heart. It is time to show up and be seen. And she continues, if you look at each midlife event as a random standalone struggle, you might be lured into believing you're only up a small constellation of crises. The truth is that the midlife unraveling is a series of painful nudges strung together by low-grade anxiety and depression, quiet desperation, and an insidious loss of control. By low-grade, quiet, and insidious, I mean it's enough to make you crazy, but seldom enough for people on the outside to validate the struggle or to offer you help and respite. It's the dangerous kind of suffering. It's the kind that allows you to pretend that everything is okay. Now, after reading this one passage, can you see why I love her and why she is one of my virtual BFFs? I have a few, mind you. Brené's wisdom is an inspiration behind my creation of the Unraveling Together community. We are rebellious midlife women who are rolling up our sleeves to do the work in community. Unraveling Together is created in the spirit of strength in numbers and as an offering of respite. We're looking to one another to help us navigate the uncharted waters of midlife, menopause, and meaning. We aim to do the heavy lifting as a collective. For many hands lighten the load isn't a saying for nothing. We're considered rebellious because we dare question the everything of it all. And I mean everything. Over the next few weeks, I'll be sharing insights from what's brewing in the Unraveling Together community and extend to you a personal invitation to explore whether Unraveling Together is a fit for you. If you want to be sure to be in the know, you can let me know by following the links in the description of this podcast. Fine print. The group is open to women only at this time, but men are definitely welcome to the fireside chats I'll be hosting from time to time. So raise your hand by following the links in the description below as well, and I'll keep you posted. Thank you for joining me on the Unraveling Together podcast. Would you help a sister out and do me a quick favor? If you gained any value from this episode, please give me a 5-star rating on iTunes and leave a comment so others can more easily find us. Now, if you can't leave a 5-star rating, I'd love to know why. This podcast is a work in progress, as am I. Please send your feedback to hello@unravelingtogether.com so I can improve the listener experience. And if you want to dive deeper into exploring your midlife experience, consider joining the Unraveling Together community of rebellious midlife women. It is there that we roll up our sleeves and do the work. It is at the midlife point in our lives we face a critical choice: step into our true selves vibrantly with purpose, or shrink into the invisible shell society wants us to inhabit, drugged up and burned out. I know my choice, and if you've listened this far, I have a good idea yours would be the same. Unraveling Together is a resource hub, roadmap, and online coaching group curated by yours truly. Unravelers, that's what I call us. We are thinkers, we are doers, we are collaborators. We are navigating this time called midlife together, for we truly believe we are stronger together. And when unravelers are in need of an assist, they have all of us there alongside them.